Calling this meeting to order. This meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with the Wisconsin statutes so that the citizenry may be aware of time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Roll call.
Edwards,
Present.
Rasmussen,
Here.
Brenner is not present.
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from October 15th, 2014.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 15th, 2014 meeting.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is citizens appearances. We have Casey, is it Cook?
Cook.
Casey Cook from Weyauwega, Weyauwega First Responders.
Okay. What I'm presenting today, good evening, guys. Good evening. I did pass to some papers out and stuff like that. I was supposed to get these in a little bit earlier, but it's just a matter of, my first pressing things that I have at the top that is for the first responders. What I'm presenting here is a request or seeking support from the township-wise for the first responders, for coming in and to help out and stuff like that. Obviously, first responders is a level of care. It's pretty much one of the lowest level of care as possible, but they are the first people usually on scene to assist in any type of medical situation. They are well trained, and we have exactly 10 right now on our roster. One of the things that I do need to point out is that I did bring this up as well at the monthly meeting prior to that I was here with, that a thing was made in the post in the paper that we would be up and running by November 1st, and that was a false statement. We are not currently up and running. Our projected is to hopefully be by December 1st. Also, a mention in the paper is that there was a certain number in each area of responders. They stated that in Weyauwega we had 6 first responders. Technically, we only have 2 at this point in time. The other 8 are actually in the Weyauwega area. What I'm showing up here, what I have for you guys is just a basic thing of loadout of the area that we're covering, and not as much as to exactly what we're providing, but it's basically the first on care, whatever need be for respiratory, cardiac situation. We're that first person to try to get the main things in case if it is a life-threatening situation. We want to be there for you guys. As you can see, I listed out the exact size of the townships that we are covering. I do note that there is one in here, the township of Muckwa. That is very minute, as that was just for, what's that other one that's over in the back road there? On
Royal.
It's on the river. I can't think of it right now.
Where are you talking? Town of Fremont?
Yeah, no, not Fremont. When you go up here off of
Down Silver Road.
Goose Landing. Goose, is that Muckwa?
Yep.
Yep, Township of Muckwa. So that's Township of Muckwa, Goose Landing. It's very minute, so I really didn't add that in here towards the figures wise. As you can read, our coverage area really technically is over 170 square miles. Pretty much the lower half of the county of Weyauwega. What I'm asking for, or what I would like to look for, is just a certain percentage between the townships is what we're looking at. What we did was we paid out of our pocket to be able to pay for the umbrella, as you read below. It's a $1 million umbrella for liability and coverages in case there's something were to occur on scene and basically like malpractice stuff like that. But obviously we do vigorous training. Mm-hmm. What my request, or what we're looking at percentage, what we're asking is about $225. It's a little bit less than what the 11.7% is, but I mean the rest of it we're gonna hopefully get with our fundraising, as we said. The exact amount of, like I said here, the approximate is $1950 is what we actually paid for our insurance policy. Do you guys have any questions for me that I can go over with the first responders and as to what I was presenting wise?
I guess the question that jumps out at me is, you have the townships listed?
That's including the cities too. I apologize.
Okay.
And the text on this, on the Township of Weyauwega and Township of Weyauwega, it is included, city included in there as well.
Okay. And have you gone to the town of Weyauwega at all with your,
Not yet.
Nothing?
You guys are the first place that I've gone to. I'm planning to go into all the rest of them as well.
Okay,
So that has to be first steps, unfortunately.
sure.
Huh?
What is your time frame on this?
What's that?
What is your time frame as to when you need to pay your premium?
We've already paid it. as I said before, we've already paid our
Okay.
annual this year. We're looking for next year and getting it all set up. So it's already paid. Our premium's already done. We've already paid it for this upcoming year, for this year starting.
How did you pay that premium?
With our own money that we already had previous before and with a donation.
Yeah, real good.
How does this, do you have any relationship with Gold Cross at all? Because,
We are not affiliated with them.
Okay.
We work with them. We have to do minor training with them. We had to go over because they have different procedures and guidelines. They use CCR, which is a different technique of CPR basically. It's basically continuous compressions rather than pausing, along with utilizing some of their things that they have, such as an auto pulse, which is basically a manual piece of equipment that does CPR for you. Other than that, we're basically on our own. We're a separate entity. We're not affiliated with them, but we work with Gold Cross.
okay, so you don't have an opportunity to jump on their insurance or be covered through
Nope.
them at all?
That's the
Okay.
reason why we had to do this ourselves. We're
Yep.
keeping ourselves separate for that reason.
Okay.
We actually talked to them about that if they wanted to affiliate and stuff like that, and they said they would not cover that. In fact, they have many other first responder groups, but like I said, they stay separate from their entity itself.
Mhm.
Any other questions I can help out with?
Maybe if you could just speak a little bit briefly to, because the city is contracted with Blue Cross, what you would be,
Gold Cross.
or Gold Cross, not the insurance, sorry.
Yeah.
And Gold Cross, and what would be the benefit of, all in addition, having the first responders?
At this point in time, that's what I'm gonna get onto later, is actually talking about Gold Cross and about some of the things that are changing.
Okay.
And I'm wanting to know what you guys have noticed, and if you do know certain things, then we're bringing up.
Yeah, I can, before we get into that.
Sure.
On the request, very quickly, I spoke with Attorney Kelly and our insurance company too,
Okay.
because authorizing them to operate in the city and giving them money, on some level, they're an extension of the city.
Okay.
And we would want to clarify that, because when we talk about just our ambulance service, which will lead into what you're going to talk about, it says Gold Cross on the rigs, but they're an extension of the city, because the city is offering that service. Just like for garbage, it's actually the city collecting the garbage, but we authorize or contract with Gratian.
Contract
So,
with them, yeah.
so we have an agreement with Gold Cross that lays out who's responsible for what and who's liable for potentially what. This information is going to be good because it'll help the handout that you gave. I'll provide that to our attorney and to the insurance company just so that they can come back to you and give a better idea on where
Okay.
it might be appropriate, because giving money would probably want to be, if you would authorize that, you'd probably want to back it up with some type of an agreement on
Yes, I was gonna say.
what that
why don't
means, you know.
Why don't you draft a contract with each and every one of these areas?
On our end, we would probably have Attorney Kelly or our insurance company advise on what that would be. So if we
Sure.
would do that, the city would probably offer out what a contract could look like.
Good deal.
So the dollar amount that they're asking for, you don't have it on the agenda tonight to act on,
Right.
but you can hold it, and the good news is you're paid through,
We're paid for a year.
Okay,
we are
so
paid
what
for 1
what
year
we'll
till
probably
next
do.
year, October.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so what we'll do is probably refer that to
Sure.
either the attorney or the insurance company or both, and then
Right.
it'll come back to you guys then, if that's okay?
Perfect.
That's
On that,
fine.
okay?
Yep.
And then,
Very good.
This is not speaking as first responder, but this next topic I'm speaking as a previous EMS and along with a citizen of the city of Weyauwega as well. Talking of Gold Cross, I went over some of the things here, and I speak to quite a few people. Names not mentioned, and like I said, few people, quite a few. It's not just one or two, it's many. The response times have been, per se, as an EMS person and as a citizen, they've been a lot longer than they should be. In an ambulance service, they should be responding within 10 minutes. If you're responding outside that 10 minutes, you should probably be paging somebody else. And when Weyauwega ambulances here, they had 2 ambulances, and if Weyauwega were paged, Waupaca would take that next call over because they usually had 2 ambulances on. From my understanding, there have been multiple times now, multiple instances where there has been a response of over 30 minutes, and that is unacceptable, not as just a person, but as an EMS professional, very unprofessional. There are 2 ambulance services that are closer by far. Fremont, which is actually Ivy Tech, and Manawa, they're Ivy Tech as well. If their response times are outside 20 minutes, they should be paging somebody else. I've also caught wind that they've also been dispatched by their Gold Cross, not by Waupaca, the county dispatch, but by their own Gold Cross, and have been dispatched to places that are well outside our district area, which that again is not acceptable. Even though it may be Gold Cross covered area, they shouldn't be doing that. That's kind of taking that again, making that response time way longer than it needs to be. Some of the things that I have, like I said, I previously worked for Waupaca Ambulance before they changed over. And one of the big things that they'd like to do is they like to make sure that the areas are covered. So my question to you is, are you guys aware that they are getting rid of an EMT basic unit here, and they're going to be putting a paramedic service here?
They've discussed that, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if they are going to be having 2 units still in Waupaca?
My understanding was that they were gonna talk to the city of Waupaca about moving one of those units, that would be the unit in Weyauwega.
And the next question would be, if there is, because they do paramedic intercepts over there, would they be utilizing Weyauwega as a paramedic intercept?
The goal, as I understand it, is that they're building a regional system, and that's their term, where the units may be based in different garages,
Okay,
but they're paging them out as one big system for New London, Waupaca, and Weyauwega to cover all those areas. So if our rig goes out, Waupaca may shift over this way. Waupaca's goes out, ours may get on 10 and sit by Fleet Farm
okay.
and page there. Now, they're probably coming either in December or January to talk a little bit more about that because they haven't come to you yet. But
My questions to that then is what's going to happen with response time? Say Waupaca multiple times have been paged out 2 ambulances. So now
it's a good question. Yeah.
if Waupaca gets both ambulance pages out, we have an ambulance page here. Are they going to dispatch New London to bring New London over here, or are they going to call out the closer ambulance services that are here?
It's a good question, and we would probably pose that to them.
Because that's something
sure.
that needs to be addressed. Because if that's the case, and they're pulling New London all the way over here for a call, that yet again, as an EMS professional and as a citizen of the Weyauwega, that's unacceptable because you have 2 closer ambulance services yet that can respond with quicker time. And you do understand, also know that there are local employees that were employed here and that they will be terminating all of them as well, correct?
The way it was explained to us was they would be offered positions elsewhere. Now, we didn't get any more detail.
Their only
Over and
position
above
that
that.
they are being offered is in Brillion, which is, I think, over an hour away. And obviously, I don't think they would be taking a position way over in Brillion to be able to get paid less than what they were getting actually paid here. Also, there's other things that I've brought up that I've noticed and gone over with this system that they have. Have you guys ever heard of the DHS 110, Department of Health Services rules and guidelines for ambulance services at all?
Heard of it? I'm not familiar with the,
Familiar with
the
it or
details
ever
of it.
seen it? Okay.
Right.
Inside there are written guidelines and procedures that every ambulance has to follow. And these right here, I have highlighted. I only have one copy right now, but what I have
that's fine.
highlighted are things that pertain to the ambulance service that I have seen so far for coverage. And quite often, that's something you probably would like to look over yourself and ask yourself, are they doing that, or are they covering what needs to be done? Because my main concern is everybody else. Like I said, I've worked in this field for so many years, and I don't want to see something go wrong. I'm not calling anything by any means. Gold Cross are an excellent company. They know what they're doing. They're very good at patient care. My main concern is, with these extended amount of times, what's gonna happen to patients that need it now rather than down the road.
Right.
Is the response time based off what the potential injury or situation is?
Response time means the time of page or the time on scene. Doesn't make a difference what the issue is or what's happening. The response times really should be, no matter what the situation, should be within 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you have somebody who had a heart attack, who's having a heart attack, you want rapid response because they need rapid transport.
Right.
That is a critical thing that we need to be taken care of.
Sure.
So they're not, if I'm picking up maybe on what Scott's asking, they're not triaging. It's not, is that what you were asking? Like, is it like a triage-based decision of if somebody's having a heart attack and we've got both rigs set up?
You always go with the closest rig, that's the main thing. Triage-wise, Gold Cross has their own dispatch system, and they go off of Adam, I can't remember, whatever. It's their call system. It's dependent on what the call is how fast they're supposed to respond.
Sure.
It's just a matter of,
Yeah.
I know that this is a very high populated, or high call volume area. Not so much here, because they get around 350 calls a year in Weyauwega alone, but Weyauwega has been over 4,000. And that's including their transports. The other question I ask, my understanding is they're gonna have a transport unit. And if they're gonna have a transport unit, does that mean they're gonna have two full crews set up in Weyauwega for that transport unit, or are they gonna have one?
Yeah, I won't speak for them, but the transports, if they ever run into an issue, what they had mentioned was the transport, because they're already at Riverside, can wait. And either they'll page somebody out of the valley to come and pick them up,
Okay.
but it's a question that we'll pose to them, certainly. So now, the DHS 110, what you're talking about is, it's chapter 110 in the state code.
Correct.
Okay, yep,
Correct. That is down, that's
Good. Yep.
the most recent one that I have downloaded there.
yep.
And the other one is, my last question, response for the ambulance service wise is, have you looked elsewhere other than just Gold Cross for managing or watching over?
What I could tell you is we haven't shopped this out. We had a contract with Weyauwega Area Ambulance.
Correct.
And when Gold Cross purchased them, the contract we have with Gold Cross is essentially the same contract we had with Weyauwega Area Ambulance.
Correct.
And it's not, and I don't have it in front of me, but the contract lays out how you can, I guess, terminate it.
Okay.
And as long as I've been here, probably coming up on 2 years, we haven't explored terminating the contract. Now, we can't unilaterally do it on our own as a city because we partner with the town of Royalton, the town of Weyauwega,
Correct.
and
Correct. Makwa.
I think, yeah, we're with Muckwa on that too.
Correct.
But it would take, I believe, all four of us to vote to terminate the contract with Gold Cross. So,
I'm not asking.
no, we
to
haven't
terminate
shopped it out.
I'm just
but-
asking, I'm
well,
not saying about terminating the contract at all. I'm
Yeah.
saying, have you looked elsewhere by chance? Thank you. No problem.
We haven't, and it's been because we've been under contract. So,
Okay.
to shop it out, we would have to consider terminating the contract with Gold Cross.
Other services that I would probably look at doing too that have been kind of going on, one thing was for sure is Clintonville has been expanding. They actually took over Manawa, has been managing Manawa as well.
Mhm.
I believe Washera has done a pretty good job, because they take care of all, I think it's the county owned, but maybe talk with them. And then have you ever thought about, because Fremont, I know their call volume is a little bit lower, have you ever thought about maybe working with them, with Fremont Ambulance and with that?
What I can tell you is in the 2 years I've been here, we haven't discussed it, so have we ever thought of it? I don't know the history behind when I came here, but
Okay.
yeah. But it's something to be considered though, for sure.
Okay. That pretty much adds everything that I have going on right now. Like I said, I'm not dissing Gold Cross, it's just a matter of these call times. It's not always. There's quite often they're here, but there have been, like I said, cases that it's concerning, and I don't want to see somebody have to wait that long. the last question I ask is, if that were the case where ambulances are out, are they going to be dispatching New London? This is a question that you probably should be asked by you guys to find out. Or are they gonna dispatch or request for the closer ambulance service?
Yeah, we can check on that. Yeah, the way our current contract is set up, it's not for paramedic service in Weyauwega, so
Correct.
the contract that you had requested,
Was he
probably,
basic?
yeah,
Yep,
so
I
it
know.
probably has to be upgraded or updated or reviewed anyway, so.
Okay.
So these are all good questions anyway that we can, at some point we'll be discussing the service that we get, and
Okay.
I shouldn't say at some point, I've discussed with them briefly, but the council's gonna have to review it.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
Casey.
thank you.
When is Gold Cross coming in to sit down and talk to us?
We do not have a date defined yet, but we talked about like by December, or maybe at the December meeting here.
December.
What they're looking at is, because when they talk to us, we're like 1/4 of the consortium, so when they come in, they're trying to figure out, can they just set one meeting and get Royalton, Weyauwega, and Muckwa all to show up at that one meeting? Or do they have to go to 4 individual meetings? And that's kind of the, when do we schedule it for? I think they're planning on
Sure.
coming, you know.
We would have that posted on our website, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You may want, that may be of interest to you to attend that.
I probably will.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good.
Casey.
Thank you very much for the info. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Anything I can do to help out other people, that's
Yep.
what I do.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda is police department update.
Okay, just, if you guys remember, the SWAT team asks every year for a donation from the city.
Contribution.
A contribution
There
to
you go.
them,
That's a good word.
so they can buy equipment and train their officers and whatnot. Just, I'd ask that you start thinking about that, because in the December meeting, I'm gonna look for some action on it. And what it basically is if we have a high-profile case here where we need the SWAT team, if we've satisfied our end with our donation, we won't get a bill. So, just start thinking about it, and if you have questions, just give me a holler.
So it's more of, I hate to jump in, but it's more of a, if you contribute up front, you don't get the bill in the back end. If you don't contribute up front and you need them, you still get the bill. So instead of using the word, it's not free money we're giving away, it's you're getting something for it. So,
Historically, what kind of contribution has it been?
500.
Okay.
It's the same for Weyauwega, Fremont, Clintonville, and New London or more, and Weyauwega.
Sure.
So I don't know what the pot is that they're looking for, but how they divided it out. But they'll give a list of the things that they need to purchase. And I think last time it was either give them the cash donation, let them go shopping, or they would ask for specific things, and we'd order it and give it to them.
Okay.
I think it's just easier, just if you're gonna do it, to give them the money. I only have 2 other things for you. Since the last time we met, on Halloween, myself and 12 other officers from Weyauwega, Waupaca County Sheriff's Department, the London PD, and the Winnebago County MAG unit executed a search warrant in the trailer park. In that search warrant, we took a small amount of marijuana, heroin, a pretty decent size sum of cash, and a Chevy Tahoe. All part of our ongoing war against drugs. So if you were here that morning and saw the parade of cars out and back, or if anybody called you, that is what we did. And that is going to lead to further arrests all around the county. And the other thing, cutting edge for you who are here, at 10 after 5 this morning, Brandon responded to a residence in the city to assist the ambulance. And I apologize for getting up and walking out, but this was directly related to that. In a nutshell, there was a domestic disturbance that went on. The male party attempted to leave, was confronted by the female party, and he attempted a second time to leave, and then she took a 8-inch knife and stabbed him. It hit his aortic artery. He was taken to Riverside. He was flown to Theta Clark, where he, last I had heard, was in surgery, or I'm guessing by this time, out, because that was early this morning. I will be emailing each of you the official press release, if I can get my email tonight. But just a heads up on that, because there was a lot of activity in town today, and a lot of people were talking, and you know how rumors are. I actually learned about this at the gas station.
Oh.
So Brandon hadn't even had a chance to talk to me, and I was hearing it at the gas station, so we followed up. So it was kind of a hectic day. That's all I have for you.
Fair enough. The first incident that you spoke about are those people in,
Jail?
yeah. I was
He-
gonna, custody, I was gonna say captivity.
He
and
was in
that's-
jail,
yeah.
but he got out on a bond. But each one of these that we do gives us more and more information, so it just keeps perpetuating itself. So there'll be others coming, but he's when he has his day in court, he's gonna have some problems. It was very compelling. And when the time is appropriate, I'll spell out exactly how this all transpired from months ago.
Sure.
Can you make comment by chance on the unmarked Crown Vic that's been sitting over by Agri-Pier?
That is an employee at,
Is that employee that just bought an whole squad?
yeah, I saw it today.
Because everybody slows down really nice down the
Yeah.
street when that car's sitting there.
Actually, my car is an old squad as well.
And he's got an
Blue?
Impala.
Nope, I have a brown Impala.
Okay.
Quite often, I catch people trying to pass me and they hit the brakes real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually two Crown Vics in town. I don't think that one actually lives here, but there's another one that's a resident over on this side of town who's got an old squad. Not ours, but it's popular with the young people.
Okay.
Well, I think you can pick them up pretty cheap on auction blocks.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jerry?
No,
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Such other matters as authorized by law. Patrick, do you have anything for us?
No.
Scott?
I do not.
I do not as well. Well, then I would, look for a motion to adjourn the police, fire, and ambulance committee.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned from that.